That's not a bad ball for Pele on the right side. It's Carlos Alberto. Oh, what a great goal that was! Carlos Alberto.
Maradona just walked away from Huddle then. Maradona, smoked and Maradona! They're appealing for offside. The ball came back off the foot of Steve Hodge. And Maradona gives Argentina the lead. The England players protesting to the referee.
De halve finale komen. Ik heb opeens zo'n gevoel dat we in de halve finale gaan komen. Met het balbezit voor Frank de Boer. Frank de Boer speelt de bal. Heel goed naar Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp neemt de bal aan. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis Bergkamp. Oh! Frank de Boer speelt de bal naar Dennis Bergkamp. Die neemt de bal feilloos aan. En die schiet de bal erin.
So yeah, like I said, do you want to introduce yourself a bit and maybe like what club football team you support as well?
Yeah, so my name is Mathieu. I've been living in Copenhagen for since July 2020. I'm a football coach, and what football team that I support? I was born in and raised in Paris, so I don't have much of a choice. And yeah, I like as you may know, I'm French as well. So we'll be cheering up France for the next competition.
Where are you coaching? Like what team are you coaching with?
So at the moment I'm coaching at Hoiko.
So you broke up for a second. What the name of the club?
Hoiko.
Hoiko. Oh, Hello. Yeah. Hoiko, yeah.
So I'm coaching the under 13 boys and under 16 girls since the beginning of the season.
Yeah, cool. And were you coaching back in France before then, or were you somewhere else?
Well, basically, when I was in France, I had a few experiences, but it was nothing. How can I say that? Consistent. It was very amateur. And then I moved to London in 2015. This is where I started my career as a youth coach.
Cool. And where were you for when France won the World Cup in 2018? Were you back in France, or like where were you where did you celebrate?
Where did I celebrate? Yeah, I was in London. Yeah.
Like with friends or something, or what? Like just at home chilling, glass of wine.
I was no. I was in there was a big screen in South London, and this is where I watched the game. Yeah, in Brixton.
Okay, awesome, cool. And so what do you think about the French team's chances this summer? Obviously, like the team is quite similar, but also they've brought back Benzema. Do you think that will change a lot of things for them?
Personally, I think that this team for the upcoming competition is better than the one that we had in 2018. Just in terms of quality and also I think that the chemistry between the players would be better. But like now, yeah, it was true. I was very excited when I saw that Benzema has been picked up, but I just wanted to see them playing like together and see if the chemistry would work. The last game against Wales. Yeah, it was interesting because we got dominated for the first 20-25 minutes until the red card happened, and then obviously after that it was much easier to for us. So I personally think it wasn't a good indication of what will happen during the Euro.
Yeah, it was interesting because I'm from Germany and I watched the Germany-Denmark match, and it was a very boring match in the second half, and it was a 1-1 draw at the end. And then I saw the results from France, who are going to be the first opponents of Germany in the Euros. And I was like, oh no, 3-0 win against Wales. This looks so bad. And then I saw the red card incident, and that gave me like a slither of hope that maybe that was the only reasons where there was a beating for
But
the
well, obviously I'm not giving you I'm not giving you the hammer to hammer us, but if I can give you a little indication, like what happened during the first half, Pavard every time got trapped by Gareth Bale behind his back.
Yeah.
So maybe it will be interesting for Leroy Sané or Gnabry to attack that space behind Pavard, because it was this is what Wales did before the red card, and this is how we got dominated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and truly, I mean, Sané and Gnabry and Müller too. They'll know some of the weaknesses of Pavard from Munich. So yeah, maybe that's one chance of how we can manage to achieve something there. But whenever I skim through the list of names on the French squad, it's just so much quality.
But to be honest with you, it could have been even better. But this is just the mindset of our manager Deschamps.
Mm-hmm.
He also wants how can I say that, social chemistry.
Yeah, he doesn't just pick the best players. It's like what's the system.
And to be honest, this is what I am upset with, because for me, the best players should play, right? And this is just the manager's job to deal with the characters, to deal with the unhappy players. But like on the other hand, I can understand the fact that, okay, if you go if you're not even picked up among the 23 players who will potentially play the one match, it would be harder to explain that to players like Dombele, Upamecano. It's easier to have like some how can I say, some
players who are a bit happier to be in the squad.
Like soft players like Marcus Thuram or Léo Dubois, or that kind of player.
But isn't kind of the background to this with the incident during the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, where there was serious trouble within the French team, and so now there's an attempt
the opposite
to
way,
make it a bit more, cohesion.
I wouldn't say so, but this is basically as far as I can remember, all the managers always wanted the social chemistry over the quality, over the fact of picking the best players, because in 98, when we won our first World Cup, some players like Anelka, he was just bombing fires in Arsenal.
Yeah.
If you take Ibrahim Ba, he was playing for the best club at that time, AC Milan. I can have like a lot of other examples, but he just picked the players. How can I say that, would be just happy to be there, right? And will never claim the right to play, if that makes sense. And then after that's the funny thing, when they tried to pick the best players, it just didn't work out. For example, in 2002 for the World Cup in Japan and Korea, they picked the top scorer of the French league, Djibril Cissé, the top scorer of Italian league, Trezeguet, and the top scorer of English League, Thierry Henry. How many did they score?
Did they score one? I think they, or no, they not done yesterday.
Zero.
Zero. So yeah, maybe there could be a lot of reasons. But for me, it doesn't mean that this is the right thing to do. If you take Spain, for example, Spain is probably the best example for that. They won the Euro, the World Cup, and the Euro again with players who just hate each other, like Sergio Ramos,
PK.
Piqué, Xavi, Iniesta, Xavi Alonso. These guys just hate each other. So and still look at their achievements.
Mm-hmm.
So well.
What do you think about the group that France have been drawn in? Do you see like it's Germany, Portugal, and Hungary? Do you see that at the start of the tournament, one of those teams will be able to upset France?
Well, I'm gonna start with the okay. I'm not trying to be rude, but with the weakest team. Hungary.
Germany. Let's talk about Germany.
I saw this coming so much, like in your eyes.
Any opportunity?
No, the thing with Hungary, well, they don't have players as good as France, Portugal, Germany have. But the thing is, they like playing risky. I've seen one of their matches this season against I think it was against Serbia or something. Well, I can't remember. Yeah. But like they managed to produce like a good football. And well, I'm not necessarily saying that they're gonna win or get through the next stage. That's not what I'm saying. But the thing is, they in their position, you could be like, okay, look, we have nothing to lose, so we're just going to risk everything.
No, we had an expert of Hungarian football on, and he was like making the point about like the team is in really good form, like in the past year, and you know, people always look at their team sheet, like he's spoken to people from Poland, and they looked at the Hungarian team sheet and like, how does this team so good? But they're like almost like a club size where it's like, you know, very cohesive and more than the sum of their parts.
So that could upset France. But apart from that, okay, if we take in Portugal, if Euro would happen a year back in 2020, I would be like, okay, Mbappe is just gonna hop between the defenders, just gonna hop to the goal. But now they have the best player of the Premier League, Ruben Dias.
Yeah.
Pepe is having a
renaissance.
A second or third or a fourth or whatever rebirth. Nelson Semedo and Guerreiro are still like very solid. Like honestly, they have a very good squad. Bruno Fernandes can pin the ball anywhere, and well, they still have Ronaldo. Yeah. And well, you can say whatever you want, but when you have that type of player in your squad, then he can be a danger anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, Portugal are kind of my outside bet to be the team which, like, it feels crazy to say this about the team which are like the holders
won
of
the Nations League recently.
Might surprise people and actually like go far into the semis and the final.
What? Say that again?
I think they're my surprise pick to like maybe upset a few teams and go up to the semis and the final.
But honestly, if you just look at if you just look at the paper, it would be like fair to say that they could lift the cup, right? If you just look at the paper. But the only thing is, I watched some of their games, and I can tell that their football is kind of poor.
Yeah.
If I'm being very honest here. Yeah, their football is poor, and I
In
don't know
what
why.
way?
And
They just don't fit together, or
the coach is Fernando Santos. He has how can I say that, very defensive mindset, and then well, typically he reminds me of our manager Deschamps.
Yeah.
His mindset is like, okay, we're gonna be ultra solid in defense and just do whatever you want up front, right?
Yeah.
And well, he can that would be okay. It would be right to apply this strategy, because well, you can say that when you have players like Mbappe, Ronaldo, Benzema, and so on. So yeah, it would be fair for him to say that, but on the paper they look solid. They look solid.
Yeah, and I feel like it's a good game strategy, especially against Germany, because that's what Germany oftentimes does. They do like to have loads of control, but sometimes they don't know how to convert it then to actually create many chances. And what happened in the last World Cup was that they had loads of control of the ball, but then as soon as there was a counter-attack, they would just melt.
Yeah.
And I think so. That's actually my fear, that Germany ends up in a position where they have to hold the ball for long times without actually doing anything with it, and then become very vulnerable to these kind of counter movements. So.
And some of my friends who watched the Germany's game against Holland. No?
The last one,
Who did they?
Denmark.
Yeah, who did they
Denmark.
play? Denmark. A lot of my friends told me, "Hey, look, Germany is not even all that. They can't even beat Denmark." But the first thing, like Denmark. Well, we all live here now. They are 10 times better than like years before.
People, presume
right?
it's Denmark.
Back
But
in the days,
they're
right?
tenth in the world.
Exactly.
You know?
They're like higher ranked than Germany.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Exactly, and like the top players are playing in like for the top clubs, right? And the thing that people didn't that my friends didn't see when they played against when Germany played against Denmark is that Germany missed, for me, their best defender, their best midfielder as well, Havertz. And well, I don't know if he's the best striker, but for me, he's still a key player. Werner.
No, definitely. Yeah, especially the midfield. I mean, Kroos wasn't playing, so I feel like there's definitely room.
Kroos was missing as well.
So there's definitely room for improvement. This wasn't like the core German squad, the 11 that will be there come first match for the Euros. But still, it was an indicator, and that's we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's also that's the first game of the group. So France versus Germany is like
what a clash! What a clash!
Yeah, kick off your tournament.
It would be like it could be good to have like this podcast running during the Euro.
Yeah,
and like maybe even invite more people, so we can kind of debrief over what happened and well, make some prediction about what's gonna happen next.
Yeah, no, we were gonna be recording stuff all the way through the tournament.
Nice.
So that's good.
Okay.
Do we have one final question that we've asked all of our guests?
Yeah.
And if you were to go for a drink with a French player, past or present, who would it be and why?
That's a very interesting question. A drink.
Take your time. It's a big decision. So.
Yeah. I would probably have a drink with Emmanuel Petit. former Arsenal's player.
Yeah.
The reason why is because he has such a special vision on the word, and in football in general as well is also a bit borderline. So
Okay.
I would be very curious to ask him about this and that. Well, another player that could be interesting to have a drink with would be. Let me find a present player, like a funny one.
Yeah, you want the two. You want the interesting one, philosophical one. I'm going to get something from, and then the fun night out.
Yeah. I would probably share a shisha with Benjamin Mendy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so very obvious choice.
This guy is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Like, every time I see him with some other people, it's just just mental.
Yeah, life of the party. All right, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. It's really interesting.
Guys, just let me know if you want to do this again in the future, and I'll be happy to join. Yeah.
Sounds lovely.
Sounds good, man. Enjoy your weekend.
See ya.
Be safe.
Be safe. Tack för hjärtan. We've got Tom. Tom, do you want to just briefly introduce yourself about your background?
Yeah, so I'm half Hungarian. Grew up in the UK, and was almost indoctrinated by my grandparents my granddad especially, about Hungarian culture and Hungarian football in particular. He told me a lot about the great teams of the 50s and the 40s and the 30s. And then he kind of got me hooked on what was dire football when I was growing up, which was Hungarian football. I watched a lot of it through a lot of sadness and bleakness, I guess, because Hungarian football for the past 30 years has just been in a dire state. But yeah, I kind of morbidly fell in love with it, really. And I've been covering Hungarian football for about 11 years now. Started when I was about 18, created a website, and though it's not my full-time job, I kind of just do it on the side because I really enjoy it. So I write for a number of publications across Europe, and especially for Euros, it gets quite busy.
Yeah, I guess I mean my first question is like, who cursed Hungary to be drawn in the same group as the Euro holders Portugal and the last two?
Exactly. After a 30-year tournament break, you finally qualify, and then this happens.
I know.
What did you think?
It's so unfair. Like,
did somebody run over like the dog at UEFA or something? Or?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's maybe just a punishment for really bad politics, which is involved in the country, but I won't get into that. It is like it's just typical that this would happen, but in a way, it does make it really exciting. I think it's like in the same way as if you qualify for the Champions League and then you end up getting really exciting Champions League opponents. In one way, it's actually really quite cool because you're playing against the big boys and you actually feel like you're there.
Yeah.
Whereas if you kind of drawn against maybe teams at your levels, that at one point you're going to potentially get through the group, but I mean, we're not going to win it, so it might just be more fun to
have a big occasion.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of optimistic side of me. The other side of me is like, oh my god, come on.
But so out of these three, like Portugal, Germany, and France, who do you think you could beat? Like, what's the most likely success?
Yeah, so Soboslai pulled out of the squad yesterday, and before that, I was feeling really quite optimistic about the Portugal game. Like, I even said, like, I don't usually make these kind of like predictions, but I even said, like, I think we'll beat them.
Because you drew against each other last time, right? In 16.
Exactly, yeah. And like, there's a few things that are in our favour. Like Portugal, for example, especially, they've had players playing in the Champions League final. They had Bruno Fernandes playing the Europa League final. That was like that will be like 2.5 weeks before the tournament actually starts. Like Hungary have been together for 3 weeks, like building that kind of rapport and tactical systems, being prepared for this tournament. Whereas like a lot of the bigger nations, they've been playing a crazy season, which is almost 2 seasons back to back. So like Hungary don't have that issue, which is another advantage. Another advantage in that Portugal game, for example, is that the game's at home.
Yeah, 2 games at home, right?
So in front of 100% seated stadium, 100% sold out stadium. So that is huge. Like it doesn't matter who you are, if you're playing at home, like you see qualifiers all the time against the lesser nations. Like they sometimes do pull results out of the hat. So it's not too dissimilar to that, really. And like I say, like Hungary have had this lead up where they have got to know each other and become a little bit like a club, and not many international teams are like that. So I think I do see that Portugal game, even without Szoboszlai, as an actual chance to get at least a draw, potentially a win as well. Portugal are notoriously slow starters to tournaments as well. Like even at the tournament they last won, they drew all 3 group games.
Yeah. The team, like Hungary qualified for the Euros in 2016, but I was reading like that team has sort of changed a lot since then. There's been a lot of the kind of the veteran players have left since then.
Yeah, that team had Gira in it, who was obviously really well known in England for his time there at Fulham and West Brom. It had Gabor Kirai, who was kind of also well known in England, played for Fulham, Aston Villa, Burnley, Crystal Palace, and played in Germany for Hertha Berlin in 1860 Munich. And then Roland Juhas as well, who's one of our best defenders of the past 30 years. So it had like 3 stalwarts, 3 absolute Hungarian legends, and Balázs Zsuzsak as well, who was kind of a football manager legend back in the early 2000s. And then all of those guys are not in there anymore. There's a few kind of players who have been left over. Adam Nodge and Laszlo Kleinheiser made really big impacts in that last tournament, and kind of almost like the tactical and youth football of Twitter kind of were like really excited by like Nodge and Kleinheiser, and they'll both be there at this tournament. So this team is very, very different. They also play in a very different way. I think like the last team was very much a ramshackle of just thrown together of legends who are kind of giving one last go. And exactly. Whereas this team are a lot more polished and a lot better, to be honest. Like Peter Galacci in goal, plays for Leipzig. We've got Willy Orban, who plays for Leipzig. Attila Zola is a really, really good defender who plays for Fenerbahce. And then Nodge and Kleinheiser are a bit more experienced. Nodge has never played outside of England. Kleinheiser outside of Hungary, sorry. Kleinheiser never played outside of Hungary. So the team is a lot more developed, and under Marco Rossi as well, they do play like a club side on the international stage, which is really, really impressive, to be honest.
If they are to upset one of the big teams, how are they going to do it? Like, what is the style? Is it kind of like going to be a counter-attacking performance, or what's the approach?
Yeah, exactly. It'll be counter-attacking. They've set up 5-3-2, defend reasonably deep and counter. Yeah, very well, to be honest. It's the midfield that does most of the good work in that counter attacking. It's not kind of long balls into the channels. It's playing through midfield and out through the press. And Nodge and Kleinheiser in particular are very, very good at that. One of the big issues, I mean, losing Szoboszlai is huge in so many ways. Set pieces, his ability to score from everywhere, but also his ability to get out of the press is a big loss, because Nodge and Kleinheiser are both amazing at it. They're both super good on the ball, but then having that third midfielder,
sort of talisman,
to be able to just get the team up the pitch a little bit is a huge loss. And Joel Kolmar, who would be his like replacement, who played an awesome game when we drew to Poland in qualifying in March, he's also injured as well. So like, we're kind of on our third number 8 basically, which will be Daniel Gosdag, who's at Philadelphia Union, or potentially Loic Nago, who's actually French and played for the French under-20 team with Antoine Griezmann. So there's a bit of a story there from when they played against France.
But the team is in really good form, right? I was reading they've only lost once in the last 10 games, so they must have like some confidence that they're, that it is possible for them. And I mean, if they get one win, with the way three teams go through, then they're maybe into the knockouts.
Yeah, and especially what you described, for example, Germany in the last World Cup, that's what they were struggling with teams that were very efficient in their counter-attacking, right? So if you're up against the giants and you do this right, then of course there's always the chance.
Yeah, and like Germany themselves are not good form at the moment. Like they lost to North Macedonia, didn't they? I think in the last qualifier.
In March,
Yeah,
and got battered by Spain. They went out in the last World Cup in the group stage. So like that's another team that Hungary potentially have a chance against. That game is in Germany, so that's a bit of a downside. But I think the way that they set up is definitely of an advantage against those sides. And they might just be taking it. I think Hungary might just be taken a little bit lightly as well, because I mean, look at the team on paper. It just does not look impressive. I was talking to loads of Polish journalists before we played against Poland in March, and their team is pretty good on paper. Obviously Lewandowski, but a lot of other players who play in top leagues. And they were just looking at Hungary's team on the team sheet, and Szoboszlai was not there at the time. And they were just like, how are this Hungary team getting such good results? Because like you say, in the Nations League, we beat Turkey home and away, beat Serbia, drew at home, and drew away at Russia. And the loss came at home to Russia in a 3-2 loss, which was probably a little bit harsh as well. So like, it's not even rubbish teams we're playing against. Like, they're good teams who we are getting results against. And it's just because they play so well together. Like, on paper, they don't look impressive, but together they just are really, really good. And at international level, a lot of teams look ramshackle, like just loads of players thrown onto the
good
pitch.
players thrown together with no system or...
Yeah, exactly. Whereas Hungary are a little bit different. So I think that is definitely something that I am optimistic about. And I think that's why I kind of went into this tournament so optimistic. And then yesterday's Szoboszlai news was a dagger, and it has made me quite pessimistic and everyone else quite pessimistic.
But you're sounding quite optimistic for me. I'm getting optimistic about Hungary's chances. That's after talking to you.
I think there's definitely a case that I might be over-egging it a little bit, but
I'll call you up after the 5-0 loss to Portugal.
Yeah, exactly. I've been telling my mates and stuff as well, like, bet on Hungary to go through the group. And now it's just it's going to all look really, really bad in my face. But there are a few signs that it could go a little bit differently to how everyone expects it to. Because I don't expect Hungary to get through the group, but there is a small part of me thinking like it's actually a chance. I think back to also like there was a group of death in 2014 World Cup, Uruguay, Italy, England, and the winner of that group was Costa Rica.
Yeah.
So it's always possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But to be fair, I feel like Group F sounds even worse than the Group of Death back then.
Group of torturous death. Just because of time, I'm just curious about what has been the highlight for you covering the Hungarian team. Is there a match or something like that sticks out in your memory? It's like this was the high point.
Yeah, the high point was definitely qualifying for 2016. Went out to both games away in Oslo against Norway, where we won 1-0, and I just didn't expect us to win that game at all. We kind of stumbled into the playoff, and we got the weakest team, to be honest. But we were also the weakest team that Norway could have drawn, and we just played amazing. We got really, really lucky. Got a 1-0 win. And then
those are always the most enjoyable results when you get really lucky.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like a snapshot from nowhere from Kleinheisler, who hadn't played a league game all season for some reason. But for some reason, we started in this game. And then we got so lucky. And like Gabor Kirai made an unbelievable save, and then they missed the rebound, which is an open goal. And then we went back to Budapest, and Tomasz scored an absolutely unbelievable goal, a goal that I've never ever seen him score anything like that kind of goal before. And yeah, we kind of just saw it through comfortably, and that was by far the best experience. And then at the Euros, it was amazing how we got to the last 16, but it just doesn't come close to actually qualifying for it after. I mean, it was 30 years, but I'm only 28 now, so it was the first tournament in my lifetime, so it was just unbelievable. Qualifying for this tournament was good as well, especially the way we did it. We scored 2 goals in the last 5 minutes of the game. It was an unbelievable way to win any game, but it still doesn't quite make up to the first time. Every time, I guess, like the first time's always the best.
First time is always the best. We have one final question that we've been asking all of our guests, and it's if you could go for a beer or a coffee with a Hungarian player, past or present, who would it be and why?
Zoltán Gera, for sure.
Just a legend.
A legend, and also just a lovely, lovely man, which like you don't always get with legends. Yeah, just super humble and really, really lovely.
Cool.
Yeah. Just a very quick one. If Hungary survives the group, is up against England at one point in the tournament, whom are you rooting for then?
It's definitely. I'll definitely be supporting Hungary. Like I do support England as much as well, maybe not quite as much as Hungary, but it's just because I cover Hungary. I have like more investment in them, and also because I feel like it just means more to Hungary.
Yeah.
Because like England do well all the time. Like, I mean, they don't do as well as maybe they expect to do, but for Hungary getting through a last 16 game against England, the country would go mental. It would go mad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you so much
really
for everything.
Good chat.
Yeah, no problem at all. Enjoy it.
All right. Talk to you soon, and good luck for Hungary. I'm rooting for them in Group F anyway. So.
Thank you. Cool. See you later, guys.
See you later. So our next guest is representing Portugal. Tiago, do you want to give a little bit of an introduction about where you're from, maybe what you're up to and that kind of thing?
Okay, so I am 24 years old. I came to Denmark actually 9 months ago, maybe. So I'm from Portugal, from a city named Porto. Maybe the people who heard this podcast probably know. Porto. And yeah, I like football, of course. Are
you a Porto fan?
Yeah, I'm.
Course, yeah.
Porto is my club. Yeah,
for sure.
And,
okay.
Yeah.
So when we're talking about Portugal at this year's Euros, we're talking about the holders from the last one. Can you remember where you were when you watched the final in 2016? Where were you watching the game?
Yeah, I was in a city we had those big screens across the different cities, so everyone would gather there, and that's what I did. I joined in Guimarães, and yeah, I watched from there when the last Euros.
What was the party like afterwards? Was it just like insane?
Crazy party.
Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, I don't remember everything, but yeah, it was pretty crazy. People were not expecting.
No, for sure. That's the thing, right? Like about that final, everyone was like, okay, well, France are the hosts.
I mean, that time,
what was the atmosphere?
The 3 first matches of the group stage against much weaker teams. And
you draw with like Hungary.
Yeah, so we were not playing good football. And yeah, I mean, it was lucky just to go through the stage, and then I don't know what happened.
And then, I mean, even Ronaldo got injured, right?
Yeah, Ronaldo. When that happened, I just thought, okay, we are screwed. I think I just go home now.
Yeah.
We lost our best player in the beginning of the match. And yeah.
But didn't you love his support from the sidelines?
Yeah.
I thought that might have been just the moment when I liked Ronaldo the best.
I cried. I cried. I mean, yeah, he was crazy. He was putting everybody crazy.
And he has also been doing very good in this qualifying round, right? Being the top scorer with 11 goals.
Still going.
Yeah, he's a very ambitious person. You can see that, and I think he can't wait, because I think it's like 8 goals or something like that to be the number one in international goals. So I think he really is the next goal for him, I think.
Yeah, so my question would be, because I've been reading that there was some people arguing that the national team would actually be better off without Ronaldo, and that there was some controversy also in the sports media going on in Portugal. Do you know what this was about?
Because he's he wants to be the best. Of course he wants the national team to go through, but he's the star, so everybody passes the ball to him, because he's the guy who decides or doesn't, or is not afraid to shoot when he has to shoot. So when you have a person like that in your team, the other people will not take the step, will prefer to pass the ball to him instead of being themselves, even if they have quality. I've seen, for example, not anymore, because I think Bernardo Silva has reached a position where now he has like completely, I believe, trust in himself to go. But some like 1-2 years ago, I saw players like Bernardo Silva, like Bruno Fernandes, passing the ball to Ronaldo instead of going, because they believe him that it could be the best. And that's why some haters, I will say, said that. But in reality, he's good. I mean, that you have more possibility to score if you pass the ball to him than to anybody else in the national team. So it's like, yeah. But in my opinion, he's good, and when he's good there, and when he's there, the team plays good. And
yeah, I get the argument about like maybe if you wanted to have a team which is kind of more like evenly distributed by responsibility, but when you have Ronaldo in your team, like I feel like in an international tournament where things are always so close, you always stand a chance because you just are guaranteed goals, right? It's just like that's,
and he's gonna be the one that really wants it. You can see in his face when he fails, or when he sees somebody fail, he's so pissed. And some people doesn't like that. Some people say, oh, you should be more humble and respect why others do like they do. And it pisses me off when this comes from people in my country, because I mean, we have to be we should be so proud and happy because we have the opportunity to see such a great player in our time and what he's doing. And people, but that's the Portuguese. I believe that's Portuguese mentality. It's like, it's never everything okay. You always have to complain about something.
Yeah. And also, like, looking at the group, it's like an insanely competitive group, right? You have Portugal, who are holders of the Euros, and then you have the previous 2 World Cup winners in it, and then Hungary as well. Like, it's going to be a really like tight and competitive game right from the start.
Yeah. That will be tough, but I think now.
I like the reaction.
It's like you just realized.
It was very genuine.
No, but I really think that I never saw our national team as strong as it is at the moment. I mean, we have. I remember that even when Ronaldo, for example, was winning Ballon d'Ors, we didn't have such a strong national team. We had some good players. And then we built the team around Ronaldo. But now, I mean, you can see all of them being part of big clubs and playing really well. We don't even have space, for example. I bet, for example, João Felix and Diogo Jota. For me, they are great players. Of course, João Felix is maybe going through a bad phase, but we can't put both because we don't have space for everybody now. So maybe 2 years ago, we didn't have enough players to fill the positions.
Yeah. So
and even like defensively, like Portugal has always had like a strong attack, but now you have like Ruben Dias is like potentially was the player of the season in the Premier League. And
Yeah, and you have
Cancelo, so like
yeah.
really see like it's a talented squad.
Yeah, you have Pep, that's 38 years old, and he's playing like a god. And
Yeah,
he's
still
working.
going.
In Champions League, he made such a good season. So, and then you have João Cancelo in the right back, right or left back, whatever, and many others.
So what's your prediction for the match against Germany? Because I'm from Germany, and I'm like looking at the record of how we have been doing in the last couple of matches that there were on the international stage. I am somewhat confident, but also I see your point that Portugal has been a rising force recently in international football.
Yeah, I mean, I think Germany was, during my time alive and watching this big competition, Germany was always the team that I didn't want to see Portugal face, because we always lost. We always lost against Germany. However, now I think from the way I see it, Germany is going through a phase where it's like rebuilding itself.
Yeah,
it's a transitional.
So when they have a lot of young people, but I think maybe lack some experience. But I saw that they called Thomas Muller and Mats Hummels. So I mean, they have the experience in the team again. So I don't know, but I believe Portugal is best. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, no, it's always good to back your team. What is kind of your like expectation, or what kind of you think will be a realistic target for Portugal? Do you think they can definitely win it, or what do you think?
I really think so. In 2016, I didn't thought so. I mean, we didn't have the team, but if we won 2016, I think we can win anything. Yeah, I think so. I think we should aim for the final. With this team, I don't think we can see a lot of better teams in Europe. I mean, Portugal for sure, in my way of viewing, top 5 for sure.
Yeah, definitely in that sort of like group of like 5 or 6 teams who should be in and around the semi-finals.
And then 3 of them are in one group. So.
Yeah, and then 3 of them.
Yes.
It's gonna be an exciting one.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an exciting one.
Yeah,
what do you think the bets are on Hungary surviving the group stage? I'm wondering. I want to know now.
I don't even know any player from them, so.
No.
Well,
we're laughing.
They have that guy that goes to Liverpool's, and I don't even Soyoblai. I don't know.
Oh, the guy that everyone always talks about on Football Manager.
Yes.
Oh shoot.
It's I don't know. I don't.
Fill the time while I Google it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Google it. I was saying we're laughing now, but let's see how it goes. Maybe Hungary is the big unforeseen winner.
They win to the other teams. But yeah.
But yeah, it is going to be very exciting. Is there any particular player you're watching out for, except for Ronaldo?
Obvious.
Yeah.
Bernardo Silva is my.
Yeah.
Bernardo Silva and Ruben Neves.
Yeah.
Those are my 2 favorite players. So yeah, I'm looking for. I hope they play. I don't know if Ruben Neves will have the space to play. Maybe not. I don't know. But Bernardo Silva will for sure play. And
then do you know where you're going to watch the matches? Is it going to be with a couple of friends at a bar?
Just to interrupt, the Hungarian footballer is Sziboszlai.
Yeah, it's Sziboszlai. Yeah, it's a really tough name to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, first of all,
plays for Leipzig.
I hope to get the opportunity to watch the games.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know I think I will see 1 or 2 games in Portugal. I'll go there for 15 days, and then when I can come back, maybe I don't know, in a bar probably. If I don't work at that time, but yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Sounds good.
What do you do when you work? Has it ever happened before? Do you log off, go to airplane mode, and just don't talk to anyone, or
when I go to work, you mean?
Yeah, when you work while there's a big match for Portugal on, what do you do then? Do you tune in on the radio? Do you just shut off and then watch it afterwards?
I mean, I cannot, unfortunately, I cannot turn the radio but when I try to pick the live score.
Yeah.
For sure.
Refresh the ticker,
Refreshing, sliding up.
93rd minute, and then your finger goes like this.
And try at all costs to find the website that transmits the game button.
Awesome. So we've been asking everyone if they could pick, if they were able to pick a player, like past or present, to go for a beer or a coffee with. Who would they pick for their country? Who would you pick for Portugal?
I think I would be afraid to speak to Ronaldo, so he would judge me like, oh, you have to be this.
He'd immediately look at you and tell you like what your BMI is, or like what you're doing wrong with your diet.
For sure.
Sleep rhythm.
So Bernardo.
Yeah, he seems like a fun guy whenever I see him interviewed and stuff.
Yeah, he's a chill guy, I think.
All right,
Tiago, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. It was nice to.
Wish you good luck for the tournament, and maybe be in contact again soon.
You too.
Yeah, let's chat after the fixture.
Yeah.
Germany, Portugal.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Okay, see you around, guys.
Bye.
All right, see you later, man. Thank you. So our next guest to talk about Germany is a long-term friend of the show and journalist in Berlin. So we're delighted to have you back on the podcast, Lukas.
Thank you, Alex.
So to kick things off, maybe you can tell people a bit about where in Germany you're from and maybe what club team you support.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm living in Berlin currently, but I'm from Frankfurt. Where the big airport is, and I support Eintracht Frankfurt. Yeah, they've been my favorite team for as long as I can think, and I mean they're playing brilliantly at the moment, so I'm quite happy about how things are going.
Cool. So because we have two Germans on for this little clip of Germany, I've prepared a little quiz to test your.
Oh no.
I was so sure that this was happening, but still I didn't prepare. This is a shame.
Still, you hope that you would be saved from some of my trivia questions. Four questions, rapid fire. All right, so we take it into, so it's going to work with Lukas is going to answer first for the question 1, and then Leon is going to answer first for question 2.
Okay.
All right. Question number 1. What is the name of the Euro 2020 mascot? Is it Keepy Uppy Kevin, Super Victor, Freestyle Frank, or Skillsy?
I would say Skillsy.
What about you, Leon?
Can you say the first 2 again?
Keepy Uppy Kevin.
You're making this shit up. I know it. Continue. Yeah.
Super Victor, Freestyle Frank, or Skills.
Oh, I have to agree with Lukas here because everyone else has got 2 names, and I'm sure you made those up.
We have 2 correct answers. Boom, boom, boom. Skillsy is correct. UEFA describes Skillsy as a larger-than-life character inspired by freestyling, street, and.
How do they look?
He looks like, I don't know, like he's from like a 90s cheap kids cartoon. Like just
Good.
Yeah, listeners, you can Google Skillsy. He's not the most charismatic mascot I've ever seen.
All right.
Anyway, both 1 from 1. Question number 2. Who did Jogi Löw replace as Germany manager? Was it Jürgen Klinsmann, Bertie Vogts, or Rudi Völler? Leon goes first.
I mean, Klinsmann. Of course. Was there someone in between? Nah.
Klinsmann, Vogts, or Völler? Lukas.
Yeah, Leon.
Leon
answered already.
Yeah, Leon has answered Klinsmann.
Yeah, Klinsmann.
Okay. And
I
you are
second it.
both correct.
I mean,
2 for
that was
2.
the World Cup in Germany. I mean, that was Klinsmann. Then
Yeah,
he took over afterwards, and
All right. No need.
I was expecting better questions, Alex.
Okay, next question. Question number 3. Germany beat England on penalties to reach the 1996 final after a 1-1 draw at Wembley. But who equalized for Germany after Alan Shearer's opener? Was it A, Thomas Hassler, B, Stefan Kuntz, or C, Stefan Reuter? Hassler, Kuntz, or Reuter, Lukas?
I don't know. You pronounced them really badly, Alex. I'm sorry. Can you repeat?
Thomas Hassler.
Who?
Hassler.
Hassler.
Hassler. He hassles. Thomas Hassler.
Like a
the
hustler.
Hassler.
I'm pretty sure he's called Thomas Hassler, no?
No, it's not what his mom calls him. Stefan Kuntz.
I say B. I say B. I should know this, but
You say B, Stefan Kuntz. Is that your answer, Kuntz?
Yeah, he won the U21. Yeah.
All right. And question.
I
What
have
about
no
you,
idea.
Leon? Hassler, Kuntz, or Reuter?
How many questions are there?
There's
Okay,
4.
so if I play it strategically, because I have no idea, if I take the same answer as Lucas does, then I have a better chance at the last time, like winning it if I know the answer, right? So I'll go with the same with Lucas. And sequence.
The correct answer was B,
Yes!
Stefan Kuntz.
Yeah,
I'm getting better at the strategy of this.
Both 3 for 3. Will we have a full house of these questions? Question number 4, and our final question. Germany haven't won the Euros since 1996, but how many times have they won it in total? We have 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, or 1 times.
I don't know.
And it's
Yeah.
Europe,
How many?
2, 3, 4, or 1. And they haven't won it since
Yeah.
1996.
I'll go with 3. 3 times.
Going B, 3
I'm
times.
so bad when it comes to historical knowledge. I say once.
Once in total.
Since 1996, you said.
No. They've won it. They haven't won it since 1996. They won it for they won it in 1996.
I say twice.
You said 2 times. Germany has won the Euros in 1972.
Oh damn, yeah.
1980.
Yes!
And 1996. The only way.
Wow.
And so you did well, Lucas. You got 3 from 4.
Wow.
So,
I swear this has never happened before. Answering all of Alex's questions correctly. It's just it's a miracle.
it's a miracle. So moving on from this quiz to the Germany team at Euro 2020. Obviously they dispatched the mighty Latvia the other night 7-1. What were your thoughts on that game, Lucas, and also Germany's chances coming into this tournament?
Yeah, to be honest, I have not watched the game. I mean, I'm badly prepared, to be honest. I mean, and I think, yeah, there's not much attention on the friendly matches. I don't know. I think Germans are genuinely not so interested in those. So yeah, but I was watching all those U21 matches.
I told people on the podcast earlier that I feel that whenever Germany does poorly in the friendly matches before the big tournaments, that they then actually perform better than if it's the other way around. Do you think that has anything to do with people not watching the friendly matches before at all, or is it just not genuinely disinterest?
I think everybody says that, right? Yeah, I feel the same. I mean, like, people used to say that.
So do we take the 7-1 win then as a bad omen?
Yeah.
The 7-1 win as a bad omen. I don't know.
It's fine.
No, I think
it's fine.
a good
I
sign.
I watched it, and the goals were superb.
Yeah, particularly Hummel's pass for Gnabry's for the 5th was particularly nice. And I guess it was also kind of important for Germany to because obviously they lost the game against Macedonia, and then their next 2 games
Yeah.
are these 2 warm-up games against Denmark and Latvia. So I think it was probably important for Lukas to get a bit of momentum going again.
I was surprised Sané wasn't starting, right?
Sané this time. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
not, and Werner was not either. So one of my questions would be: do you think that Löw will run with Havertz and Gnabry as in the starting 11, and then bring in Sané and Werner later on in the match, or who do you think he'll give precedence?
I mean, it's hard to tell how he will start. I mean, but we can talk about what I would prefer. I mean, I don't know. I'm a great. I mean, yeah, it's different. It's hard to say. I can't say honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Whom would you run
What do
with
you
though?
think?
Yeah, in your
Who I
dream
would-
11.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Müller is terrible on the
Okay.
flank. I mean, he used to play left wing against Latvia, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And how did he
I mean, that's the
perform?
thing with him though. It doesn't really matter where you put him, right? He'll just go wherever he pleases, anyways.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I would not like Müller to be in that starting lineup. I don't know. Yeah,
But do you think that they'll play him as the central striker, or do you think they'll go with the?
No, I don't think so.
With Gnabry through the middle.
I don't think that's a role that is fitting him. I mean, honestly, I mean, yeah, he's, I don't know, he's, yeah, how is it called? Like behind the striker.
Ramdeuter.
Yeah, exactly. That's his role. I mean, and I mean, as the single striker or on the wings, I mean, he uses to disappoint. I mean, yeah, I like Havertz a lot. He was brilliant in the Champions League final. Yeah, I would start Havertz definitely. I would also start Gnabry. He has a clinical finish. Yeah, that's what I would think of. I mean, but if we think about the role of the central striker, I don't know.
But I think in both of these friendlies games, like Muller has started either like as the kind of false 9-1 in both of them. So
Yeah.
it's either kind of, it's because if they're going with the 3 in midfield, which for the game against Denmark was Neuhaus and Kimmich, and then in the game against Latvia, they went with through the middle, they went through Gundogan and Kroos. So it feels like it's going to be the 3, and then it's just a question of who goes on the wing, whether it's Havertz, Gnabry, or Sané as well, or Werner also on the left as option. What is the kind of feeling in Germany about their chances of this tournament? Because I was looking at, they're still like the 4th favorite, which I thought was a kind of a bit surprising given some of the results and also like how the poor performance at the World Cup.
Excuse us.
What do you think, Leon? Is that incorrect?
No, over to Lukas first.
I mean, there's not much talk about the tournament, right? I mean, people are talking about the U21 winning the title, but I don't know, the European Championship. There's not much talk about it. I mean, Löw has been in the media spotlight for a little bit, but surely, as a German, you want to win the title. But I mean, this time I think, yeah, it's hard to tell. It could be anything. I don't know. I think if they pass the group stage, I think they might go for a win. But either they get stuck, they don't pass the group stage, or they win the title. That's what I think. Because I mean, yeah, Leon, you're probably aware of that term Turniermannschaft, like the tournament team we used to say in German. So they tend to improve during the matches, and I think if they are able to build that momentum, they will be lethal. But if not, so
I'm just looking at like the age
Depends on the
profile of the
start.
squad, and there's a few veterans in it, which kind of brings the average age up a little bit. So obviously you have Neuer, Hummels, and Kroos and Muller, which are a bit older, but then like the majority of the squad is kind of in the peak years of like 24 to 29. So it is kind of like, in some ways, the squad that Jürgen Löw has picked is kind of like at the right age for them to, for Sané or Gnabry to kind of take hold of it.
Yeah, it's an interesting mixture for sure. I mean, you're probably aware of that he wanted to rebuild the team after the terrible last tournament, when Germany did not pass the group stage. But this did not work out too well. I mean, there were some good matches, but there were some bad matches. So now he included Müller and Hummels back to the squad. I think it's an interesting mixture, but I mean, it doesn't feel like they're on their prime yet. I feel like many players they might be on their prime after this tournament, like Havertz, for example, and Werner. I think if they play a good tournament, they could become they could be reminiscent of Germany. When was it when they won against Brazil 2-7
in 2014?
They
in
might
the World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. They might have a similar development. Then I mean, I could see them like Özil and so on.
Yeah. I when I was thinking about this Euros, I tend to compare it to South Africa, where you had a very fresh and new team and loads of players. I mean, that's when Müller kind of entered the international stage, and I was a bit scared that Löw wasn't as radical now that he brought back in guys like from Müller from the earlier ages of German football, and that he wouldn't be as daring, trying something new, give them a chance, let them play their style of football, but that he would rather stick to kind of the very control heavy kind of football that we were used from the German team, because we had so good players that could fill these roles. And now I don't know whether he just wants to copy paste kind of this idea of a match plan with new players who maybe don't fit into this role as much as he would like. And that was kind of, I feel, the struggle that he had in the last couple of years. And I hope that he finds a way of making this work, because the beauty of 2000 and of the South Africa World Cup was that it was a fresh team, but also they were playing beautiful,
and you could see where the team was going to go, right? Like,
very
I think everyone was kind of surprised that Germany did so well in 2010, but was like, okay, now they've moved this team so far forward that they're so well set for 2014.
Exactly, and I feel like this should rather be this kind of tournament where you just give them a chance, let them find themselves, also maybe risk a bit too much and then, lose a game because of that. That'd be fine, but at least let them explore what kind of quality football they can play. And I hope that they have the chance for this.
Staying for another tournament, that's what he would have done. But it's also like, with this being his last tournament as Germany manager, and also with the group that we've got with France, Portugal, and Hungary, he probably just didn't want to take too many risks and thought, okay, well, let's bring back some of the big name players who are used to playing these big games, these big finals. That's because if they get a couple of bad results in the group stage, that could be them gone again.
Yeah, but I think it's fine that he brings in some of the old guard. Yeah. I just think that he shouldn't cling on too much to the match plan. That's like full control all the time. Yeah. When Neuer has the ball, we play it out very slowly in kind of minuscule passes up until the other goal, and then we got our chance. I think it has to be a bit more daring. But yeah, what do you think, Lukas, about the match plan? How should they play the Mannschaft?
I mean, they should probably start off defensively, and I mean, I think they will probably counter a lot. I mean, the forwards are kind of fast paced, every one of them. I think Germany always has this playing style of being like defensively dominant, of keeping a lot of possession, and that's how they should play. But I mean, it won't be easy. I mean, especially against France. I mean, this is like, I mean, the group is insane, so it could go either way. So
whom do you see Germany rather winning over, Portugal or France?
Definitely rather they definitely rather win against Portugal.
Yeah,
definitely.
As they have so many times in the last tournaments.
Yeah. We used to like them as an opponent, right? I mean, we always win against Portugal. I don't know why.
Yeah. What has been for you, Lukas, some of the highlights watching the German national team? Is there some games or something that you sort of look back on as
definitely
best memories?
Loads of good memories. I mean, I would say as a German, you always have like an ambivalent stance towards the national team. You kind of like them and you're kind of bored of them at the same time, but as soon as the tournament starts, you kind of like them again. And yeah, I mean, the first match I remember was against Saudi Arabia, 2002, I think, when Klose scored 3 times, crazy headers. Like this was really nice. And then surely the Sommermärchen 2006. I mean, and yeah, the quarterfinal against Brazil, definitely I will never forget. But I mostly remember the
semi-final.
Semi-final. What did I say?
That's fine, it's fine. Where did you watch that match?
I was in a student town. But I mostly remember like the negative things, like the Torres goal. When was it? 2-8. Then Balotelli scoring against Germany. I mean, it was a really nice goal, and Balotelli is one of my favorite players.
Okay.
And then this terrible group stage, 2018. And yeah, I remember the South Korea match when they were really like they lacked ideas, and so it's mostly negative emotions or negative memories I can think of, to be honest.
So do you think that's a problem of attitude? Yeah. Do you go into the matches watching them with too much fear?
Leon, I haven't asked you what is your highlights. Your highlight would be what?
I mean, it has to be winning the World Cup.
Okay.
I mean, because we went out. I mean, back then I lived in Hamburg, like right next to St. Pauli stadium, and so everyone ran down, and there was a whole crowd that pushed towards the Reeperbahn, the nightlife district, and it was packed, and there were fireworks going off everywhere, and everyone was cheerful. Beer was being chugged and thrown around everywhere, and there was this one moment where we went to a kind of narrow street which is called the Hamburger Berg, kind of a very iconic street, and it's very small, and there are bars left and right, and it was completely packed with people, and then in the middle of these people there was one car, and it was a very like an elderly couple sitting in there, and I don't know how they got themselves in this mess, but everyone was jumping and on the car, and it was like a mess all around them.
Was the car like in the air?
Yeah, it was bouncing. You know, like the like the Grand Theft kind of auto kind of things, exactly. the bounce notes. Exactly. That's how it looked. And they were like, you could see in the eyes they were somehow enjoying kind of this historic moment,
but also
being
worried
in the middle
about
of it, but also scared loads. but other than, I mean, it was an amazing night. It was super
but
good.
What I was about to add, Leon, maybe you feel the same. You don't have a like relationship to the national team. You don't, I don't know, you don't think about them. You don't like them. You only support your local club, and I think most Germans are like that. Like nobody goes to see them in the stadium, and
yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know whether I 100% agree though. I feel like ever since the Sommermärchen in Germany, there has been a shift. And I mean, of course, in Germany, I feel it's always somewhat mixed with weird feelings about patriotism. So you support. I feel like many people I know support the team, but they wouldn't say that they support Germany. Therefore, at the World Cup, but they do. I think they do tend to identify with some of the players and like them and read about them in the gala and stuff. So
I mean, I guess it's always very different when a tournament is on, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
but isn't that the same for?
Same for everywhere.
No, I don't feel like that. When the tournament is on, it's like a switch being clicked. But I mean, for example, just think about those Norwegians or so. They watch every match. The Norwegians I know. Or I used to know, they watch every match and they're really passionate about like all the friendlies. But the German friendlies, they're terrible matches.
But maybe also because Norway doesn't have as many chances in the big tournaments. So then the friendlies rise, are more important.
Like it means more, right?
Yeah.
When you're one of the smaller nations who isn't always there, right?
Like that's as good as it gets, right? Yeah. Like winning against like a big opponent in a friendly might be just the highlight. of that decade.
I mean, one of my highlights of watching the Irish team was them scoring an 86th minute equaliser against Denmark for a 1-1 draw. Like, it's not.
Yeah.
You know.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's more fun to be an Ireland fan, to be honest, than a German fan.
No,
I don't know how.
No, honestly.
No, because don't tell
That's
me.
such a bold statement. How would it be?
You have not watched just their last 12 games looking for a win.
Yeah,
And
you're right.
us going behind last week 1-0 to Andorra, and me nearly getting a heart attack that we were going to lose to Andorra for 5 minutes. So
Yeah, that sounds bad.
No idea.
But I mean, Germany in the friendlies, they either they overpower their opponents and they win like 5-0, and it's terribly boring because they lead after 20 minutes, like, or they're completely lazy. They're always lazy in those friendlies. I mean, it drives me crazy. And then they play horribly because they expect to lead 3-0 and then they don't, but they can't fight because they're too lazy. I mean, it's no fun to be like a German supporter, and I wouldn't call myself that. Like, only in the tournament it's kind of exciting, I would say.
Yeah, that might be true, I guess. But so looking forward to the tournament then, because there won't be lazy, boring football there. What do you think? What's your prediction? Like you said earlier, maybe go out to the group stage or win the whole thing. If you had to pick like one prediction, what would it be?
So it's really with the first game against France on Tuesday. So
what do you guys think? I mean, I won't base my answer on that, but just out of curiosity.
I think Germany get through in second place in this group with Portugal in third, and I think they probably go out in a quarterfinal or maybe a semi-final. I think that would be my best guess, I think.
Yeah, sounds realistic.
Yeah, I think they win the title. I can't say they go out in the group stage, but it's an either or. I stick to that.
Yeah,
because they saved all of the energy during the friendly
matches.
Now they've got
excess
stamina to
so much
spend.
Telling about the tournament, so
no, it's
you know, like we
exactly, yeah.
No, that's true. That's fair. Lucas, we have one final question that we have for all of our guests on this podcast, and it's if you could go for a beer with a player from the German national team, past or present, who would it be and why?
Past or present? I did not know that. I think like the obvious choice most people would answer is Leon Goretzka, because he's so handsome and he's so smart and he's so political. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of the media discourse in Germany right now. But I think Emre Can would be by far the most like interesting, guy to hang out, because he's also from Frankfurt, my hometown. I don't know. I like him. He seems like a nice guy. He's always aggressive on the field. I like that as well. He's never lazy, for example. And I mean, he was coached by some of the greats, like Jupp Heynckes, Jürgen Klopp, Allegri, Sarri, and Brendan Rodgers. I don't know if I should include him in that list. He's doing fine now, right?
Yeah, he's doing fine. He seems a decent manager. Well, I haven't asked you this question, Leon. What is you've had all week to think of your answer? Over a week, basically.
And again, I kind of saw it coming, but also it's like, nah, he's not going to ask me at the end. and now I'm staring at the starting 11, and it's a hard pick to.
I think it's a hard. You're not sure whether you want the party nights or you want the informed discussion.
Exactly. Whether you want the wokeness of Goretzka.
What has Goretzka
or maybe
done? I'll ask Lucas and Leon. You can think of your answer. What has Goretzka done, sort of in Germany, publicly, politically?
No. I mean, the things he had done, they were absolutely nice. I mean, it was good. He had done then, but I don't remember all of them. What was it? He came out in favor of like gay footballers. Or I'm confusing something. Max Kruse was doing the same, I think. I don't know. I mean, that's really, really good. He done so, and also he took a stance against like right extremism also lately.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's
No
good he's
football for
doing
the
it.
fascists.
I
Two
just said
sources
like
we can get
he's the
behind.
obvious choice because he's in the media and portrayed a lot, and
That's cool. And what about
But
is
I
there
think
any
Emre
is
Can
there
is
any legendary German footballer that you would be happy to go for a drink with?
legendary. Honestly, no, I have no real connection to them.
Okay.
I mean, I would be interested in Ballack, to be honest, because he was kind of that childhood hero, and he reminds me of those Schröder times and so on. Like, he was a special sort of guy. But I mean,
So you would go out with some football player because they remind you of the Schröder
no, I
times?
mean,
that's,
one more.
that's intriguing.
No, he's
But,
reminding me
yeah.
of all those times, and I don't know what was that.
Yeah.
He was an interesting player, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mathieu's.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's talking. I don't like him as a commentator. As a player, he was brilliant, for sure. I really like to watch his
I
videos.
thought about it, and it has to be Oli Kahn.
Oh,
He's such a character. I mean, I have to pick him. I don't know whether you know this, Lucas, but there's this one famous German poem, Der Panther.
yeah,
And
I know it.
it's
I know it.
about a panther who's in a cage and roams kind of next to the cage and just looks out, and like he feels how he's confined to this very like little confined space. And then there's this one journalist who asked Oli Kahn to read out this poem, and he reads it, and while he reads it, he kind of reflects on it in his position as a goalie, and then it dims on him that
6 yard box is the cage.
the 6 yard, it's his cage, and he roams up, and it's a thing of beauty. It's such a thing of beauty.
Barks his
Yeah. So a great will, boxed in this confined space. That's kind of the gist of the poem, and it fits so well.
Yeah, I mean, as
So,
a player, he's been interesting, but as a in his new function, he seems a bit silent, and also as an expert, I didn't like him too much to listen to.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm not going to a bar with
to a
him
poetry
to talk
night.
about expert football stuff. Exactly. That kind of stuff.
Well, we're talking
It's
about
gonna be a blast. Yeah, footballer, but you can do with him. Wait, it's your date night, so you can take him wherever.
He's all yours. All right, Lucas.
I don't want to. I only want to talk about football.
Football with Michael Ballack, and then Emre Can was the up to date one. Was the current team member that who would go, or did you set Goretzka?
Yeah, I think he just had an interesting career. He saw a lot of places, a lot of teams, a lot of great teammates, and I think he has a lot to tell.
Mm-hmm. All right, Lucas, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, sure, you're welcome.
It was good as always, and I'm glad the boring friendlies are over and we can get to the real football.
Yeah, it was fun to talk to you guys.
Me, you are somewhat of a mystery man because you signed up to speak about Finland, Denmark, France.
Not about one country, but three.
Keeping this in mind, I would just hand it over to you and maybe give us a brief introduction about yourself, where you're from, what club you maybe support, and how you have gained so much knowledge on so many different football nations.
Yeah, sure. I'll give an attempt at least. I am half Finnish and half Danish, so I have dual citizenship, and that's due to my mother being Finnish and my dad being Danish. With that, I was born in France originally and lived in France while I was young. So I actually tended to follow the French leagues and the French footballing players a lot more when I was younger. And then growing up, moving to Denmark back in 1996, I started following the Danish national team as well. And then along with my Finnish family, I also always kept hearing about Finnish sports, which to be honest was mostly about ice hockey and winter sports, as you can imagine. But so that's the introduction. I don't know if I have a favorite one. I must say the easiest one to stick by is probably the French national team because of its amazing players and trophies and and players in general, I would say. So that's the brief football introduction, I guess. Yeah.
How is your family going to deal with the Denmark-Finland game, like with this sort of split loyalties? What are you going to do?
Yeah. Well, actually, I have a cousin who is a few years younger than me. We had actually planned to find tickets and such, but it just became so. The whole time just became so dysfunctional with coronavirus and restrictions and people having to be part of the actual a supporting member and stuff of the different things. So it just became impossible. But I actually meant to buy tickets for me and him for the first match. And honestly, yeah, we can talk about the Finnish national team a bit later, maybe after the introduction. But yeah, I guess the expectations were quite low for that from his side, at least. So my family is quite psyched about it, and I think in general, like the Finnish people are quite psyched about this whole tournament and the team that they have at this moment in time. So yeah, but it will be a split thing, I guess. But it has its benefits.
Yeah. Have you decided you'll be supporting? Are you all in on Denmark, or are you going to support maybe the underdogs?
Yeah, it's going to be
the
kind
winner.
of a chameleon thing with probably going to support who the majority of people in the room will be. So being with a lot of Danish friends, I'm guessing it's probably going to be the Danish national team. But yeah, inside I will probably also hope that they at least get some points, or at least show a good sporting measure, meaning that they show some kind of how do you say, will, or somehow, yeah, so they don't just get hammered. Yeah, I guess that's fine.
Keep their pride. Don't get hammered by
concern.
the Danes.
No, of course. Yeah, you want a good fight, a good match. Although it's very interesting because I feel like for me, intuitively, whenever I'm with a crowd that supports one team,
I'd want to support the opposite.
Exactly. I automatically go like to the opposet.
Yeah, I mean, it also
maybe just to know folks a bit, but
to bet on. So if one team's doing bad, you at least have some aspirations for the other teams. But yeah, I think my main horse in that sense would probably be France. But yeah, it's probably going to be Denmark in that match particularly. Yeah.
Was the World Cup win for France? Would that have been like definitely your highlight of watching the French team, the most recent one?
Yes, I would say, yeah. Probably, yeah. Particularly the change of the century was probably the best time to be a French football fan, to be honest. A lot of likable football players, legendary players who just got those legendary titles along with it. So yeah, it definitely felt like a big part of. At least I remember it was a big part of me, of my aspirations when I started playing football, and I still do play football, but obviously in no way since the same level as that. But I remember as a kid, it was definitely like icons, I guess is the right word for that. Yeah.
Do you know, when you're a child and you play the footy, you always pretend like you're this one player, like you get the names on the back of your jersey and everything. Who was this for you?
That's a tough one. I actually really like the Marcel Desailly, to be honest.
Yes.
I'm also a Chelsea supporter. I might put that one in as well, which was actually largely due to Makelele and Marcel Desailly playing on that team.
Congratulations, I guess.
Yeah, thanks. It's been a pretty good weekend, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, so I would say him probably, but I do, when I was younger, I did mostly play offensive football. So Henri was also there, I must say. He was a yeah, he was very iconic also for that era when I started really playing football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you think France will get on in this tournament? And do you think they'll be able to repeat the World Cup win?
I think I'm always a bit nervous about the French national team, especially in these times. Mostly because it's largely due to the fact that these national team cup tournaments are much more likely to be influenced by the team spirits rather than individual players having an amazing round of matches. So I'm always concerned about what the actual mood or attitude or temperament of that national team would be. I think they're in a good place now. Obviously, seeing Benzema being pulled into the circle might make me a bit nervous, but I think it's going to be a good round. But I don't particularly see them as. I think there's other teams that have more hunger for those titles than France maybe have in this particular moment in time, to be honest.
I mean, we gotta ask who would that be?
I think Portugal.
Yeah.
I think Portugal is in a good place, especially like team spirit wise, where I think that there's a bit more competition between like the A and B chains of the French national team, where it seems like Portugal has a bit more of a unified group, and they're really good at these like playoffs and stuff. But I hope France will be in a good place, and that the coach has done his puppet mastering skills, or read on them at least. Yeah.
I have one final question for you, and it's a scenario. It's the final of the Euros. It's gone all the way to penalties, and it's Denmark versus France. Are you cheering for Kasper Schmeichel to make the save, or are you cheering on the French? Or
yeah, that's a really difficult question, actually. I think I would probably, seen in the light that I know how much such a title would mean to my Danish national fellow friends, I would probably cheer Schmeichel on, I would say. Yeah, I would probably do that, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, France have enough titles, right? So.
Yeah. See you at the Rahlhuspladsen then.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, I would.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. Really, really pleasure.
No problem.
And good luck to all three teams in the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You seem to be in
the
very best position any of our interviews have been so far, because I mean,
exactly,
3 teams.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
It's like all you can eat buffet without any.
So enjoy.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Thanks.
much, Brenna.